Hello, and welcome to this ALTTP No Save and Quit NMG Speedrun Tutorial, Episode 10. In the last episode, we got Temperate Sword, collected some money, and killed Mothula. In this episode, we are going to gain the ability to swim, make mountains shake, and take cold damage. We don't have any new tech to talk about in this episode, so it will all come down to good movement, execution, and good menuing. Before we get into the run, please take a moment to like and subscribe if you are enjoying the series so far. With all that YouTube-y stuff out of the way, let's get started on the run. Right away, we are going to menu to our mirror and go back into the light world. We'll summon the duck and go to Flute Spot 4. Dash left, dash up to the next screen. Dash left to the decorative pattern on the pathway, and dash up to avoid the enemies here, and take the portal under the bridge. Once in the dark world, dash right to the next screen. Dash up. Dash right, then dash up, move to the right before the rock and dash up. You will want to dash into the bush, then pick up the rock and carry it with you to the next screen. Throw the rock at the ropa and dash right. Walk around this ropa, dash to the right, right to the big rock, pick it up and throw it as soon as you can, then dash up and right. Dash right and down to the black rock, pick it up and throw it. Dash right and dash up. Walk a little bit, dash, and start walking diagonally, right around the bush and perform a quick hop off the ledge. Pick up the rock and throw it into the ring of stones in the water. You don't have to be super precise about this, but you can actually throw it almost outside the ring and still wake up the catfish. You will want to immediately dash right to set up a quick warp after you pick up Quake from the pissed off catfish. Walk up to collect Quake. Spam Y through the text to warp back to the light world. Here you will dash up, then dash right and dash up again. Walk along the diagonal path and dash up at the border of the light and dark water to the grass. Dash right again and down to the green leaf floating in the water. Dash right, walk down a little bit, dash right again, walk up, and dash right once more. Dash up and we'll talk to King Zora, who will sell us the ability to swim for an unreasonable sum of 500 rupees. Dash down immediately after getting your flippers and swim over the waterfall. Dash down and swim over the next waterfall. You can dash left a great deal higher than you think here. This is known as the Jesus Dash, since it looks like you're walking on water. Dash all the way to the diagonal path, walk up, and dash left, and then dash down. Walk diagonally left and dash down to the whirlpool. You can buffer your dash here with a menu to switch to the fire rod. Swim into the whirlpool and we'll be at our next dungeon, Ice Palace. Swim up to the ladder, lift the black rock, enter the portal, and walk through the door. Well, Palace. This is a pretty short dungeon, but it does require a knowledge of a double pixel perfect bomb jump. We'll get into that soon. Walk up to the left statue to activate the enemy doing his best Han Solo impersonation. The Freezor. If you split Link in half with the corner of the statue, you'll be able to hit the Freezor from below the statue. This will open the door and we can walk left. If you have sword beams, swing at the lowest one of these bars here for a key. If not, just kill him when he isn't electrified. We can unlock the door and walk down the stairs. We'll talk about ice physics a little bit later when it's a little more relevant. Dash down and left to hit the switch, and then dash right, walk up, and dash right again. Dash right and push the block. Go down and hold up through the transition. This will make it so we can leave the room immediately. Push the block up and dash right. Hold B through this transition to charge your sword. Start walking right and release your sword spin when it's charged. This should kill off 4 Pengators, reduce the lag in the room, and make it easier to pick up the pot. We want to hit the switch under the pot and dash left. Switch to your bombs. Push the block and dash up. There are two different ways of doing this room. Method 1. Hit the switch with your sword, drop a bomb near the switch, walk up, drop a second bomb at the top of the room, pick it up, throw it while you are a little more than halfway past the wall, throw it down towards the switch. This will break the floor and hit the switch at the same time. Before it explodes, make sure that you're on the pegs, so you'll get some iframes for the fall. Method 2. Hit the switch with your sword, walk up, and drop a bomb at the top of the room like before. Pick it up, throw it down the same way in Method 1. The pegs will lower and you can fall down the hole. This will require you to hit a switch 2 rooms from now. Now we face a new enemy, the Stalfos Knight. He's super simple if you do the following. Pick up the left pot above you, walk up a bit to activate the Stalfos Knight, he'll drop down, drop a bomb as you move down. You basically want the bomb to be sitting where the pot was. This bomb drop is not super precise. Walk down, pick up the lower left pot, walk down to the bottom wall. As the second Stalfos Knight drops, throw the pot into him, which should knock him up to the barrier before the bomb explodes. When the bomb goes off, it will have killed both knights. Exit the room. There are 2 ways to do this hallway, but it's a little RNG dependent. Method 1. Damage boost. You will need sword beams for this to work. You'll want to swing your sword to the left towards the second berry, so that he drops the key he's holding. Then you want to run into the spikes on the right side of the room. Line up against the row of spikes above you while you have iframes, and you should be able to dash along the length of the room, picking up the key as well. If you didn't do the 2-bomb method earlier, you will need to hit this switch now. It should be blue. Method 2. If the berry is not in a good position or you don't have sword beams, just make your way through the conveyor room as best you can. Kill the second berry for the key, hit the switch if it's not blue, and you're good to go to the next room. The bomb jump. This bomb jump saves something like 2 minutes or so. You have time to set this up properly. The only time sensitive part is getting into position while the bomb goes off. This is pretty much required, and I highly recommend learning this jump even if you are a beginner. It's also pretty much required if you want to do the randomizer competitively. There are a couple steps to this bomb jump. Step 1. Hold your sword out facing right. You will want to be hugging the top of the wall for this, and you need to be in this position. Once here, drop a bomb. Move down until there is a pixel between your sword and the shadow of the bomb. The other visual cue is you can use Link's hat. There is a 2-pixel black bar under the door here. When Link's hat splits this bar in 2, 1 pixel of the black bar visible, you are in the right spot. Once the bomb explodes, use your menu, switch to the hammer. Before a hammer dash, down to the switch and bonk over the pit, holding right while in the air. Pick up the pot for a heart, walk right, and dash right and down the stairs. In this room, you will want to charge your sword immediately and start walking down and to the left a little bit. As the pen gators approach you, you want to be walking diagonally down and left. Release your sword spin and you should hit all the pen gators. Notice that your momentum stays through the sword spin while on ice. There are lots of funny things about ice physics in this game. You should spend a little time familiarizing yourself with how to move on ice if you have troubles with these rooms. You can use your sword or boots dust to help change your direction quickly or stop yourself suddenly. I'll spend a little time here dancing around this floor to show you what I mean. It's a good idea to practice a little on ice and get used to how it feels, since it will be helpful in a handful of rooms later in the run. You will also abuse the ice physics to perform another trick coming up. Before we leave this room, there is a second way to do it. As you enter the room, walk down and drop 2 bombs. Bonk off the right wall and the pen gators should all get exploded. Dash out of the room when you have killed the pen gators, whichever method you choose. Here, we can either get hit by the spike, to save a second or 2, or you can wait and walk up as soon as it goes back to its starting position. Take the left door. This room has 2 ways of doing it as well. Method 1. You can take the stairs like a normal person. You use sword swings to manipulate Link to get him there faster. Be sure to watch the inputs here to have an idea of what's going on. Dashing down the stairs is much easier than trying to walk down them. No idea why, that's just the way it is. Method 2. You can do some magical parkour, clip through the rail, and do a sick rail slide down the stairs. To do this, pick up some speed, charge your sword and release it roughly here to clip through the railing. This saves a very small amount of time, so it may not be worth going for, but it looks swaggy as hell. So by the laws of speedrunning, if it looks cool as hell and saves time, it just may be worth learning. Once you're past this room, the rest of the dungeon is more or less a cakewalk right up to the boss. Drop down the hole on the right, walk through the door, push the bottom block, and fall in after it. Pick up the pot while on the block, walk above the block to push it over the switch, dash down through the door. There are some safeties here if you need them. If you are low on health, or need some fairies, you can fill up by going up instead of down in the switch room, walking up the stairs and falling down either pit here. There are 3 fairies here. Fill up, take the warp, go back down. In this room, we will need to pick up both the pots, move the statue out of our way, hit the right whack-a-mole, lift the rock. Switch to your fire rod as you fall. One thing I should probably mention, you will either need full health and half your magic bar, or a full magic bar to do this fight. Contact damage with Cold Stare does 4 hearts of damage. We are supposed to have blue mail from this dungeon, but it takes so much time to get, the speedrun skips it. There is another mail upgrade that you can get later on in the run. The other thing to note is that there will be ice falling from the ceiling that will either break on the diagonals or in cardinal directions. Avoid these as best you can, but if you need to choose between an ice hit and a boss hit, the ice deals 2 hearts of damage, so that would be my choice. With that out of the way, let's fight Cold Stare. Method 1. Not enough magic. If you have about half a bar of magic, you can still break the shell as long as you have sword beams. If you shoot a fire rod shot up, and as long as that fires on the screen, you can use a sword beam, and it will count as a fire rod shot. This is a last resort, and the timing on this is a little tight. It's a good thing to practice since you never know when you need it. Method 2. If you have full magic, move slightly to the right when you drop down. Start firing your rod up. You can clip into the shell here for the last few shots. With the shell broken, in one of these 2 ways, let's get to the fight. Let's start with the quick kill. Once the shell is broken, charge your sword and stand directly above the cotton puffs here. Move down through them, release your sword spin as soon as you get beneath them. This is a timing thing and it needs to be done correctly. Once they are moved up, face right and hold out your sword. You will need to do 2 successive poke dashes to get them in the corner, then release your spin for a double hit. That's it for old Cold Stare. Since that method is super hardcore and people generally hate doing it, or learning it, or practicing it, there are other methods. As before, we will get Cold Stare bunched up into the top of the screen. This time though, we will be a little down from the top wall and swing our sword. You can usually get a few hits in here. Cold Stare will likely move down, so swing down to get them, and it should only be 1 or 2 hits from here. The other way to do this fight is by duping your fire rod shots even if you have full magic. This will give you at most 4 more fire rod shots to use on Cold Stare. Instead of hitting him to the top right, this time we'll hit him into the top left, since it's easier to get triple fire rod shots on him this way. Use your fire rod to hit Cold Stare in the top left until you have no more magic. You should be able to finish him off pretty easily with your sword this way. The other thing you can do, if you have half magic, you can break the shell normally and just melt him with fire rod shots. Again, the easiest way to do this is just to put him in the top left corner for some free triples. Whichever method you choose, once you put him down, pick up the heart and collect the crystal. Congratulations! You have killed one of the most execution-heavy bosses in the game. We are only 3 dungeons away from the end at this point, so it's something to feel good about, as this boss can be another gatekeeper for newer runners. This is an especially hard boss for runners who recently dropped safeties. Don't forget to split your timer, as we have ourselves a victory sword swing. That's it for this episode. In the next episode, we are going to do a little more swimming, get down on our luck, start hooking, and generally have a good time. As always, I want to give a shout out to Hacksaw for helping me organize my thoughts for this series, as well as Rabid Bluejay for creating the thumbnail for this series. Links to their channels in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.